Silicon Valley Bank
Yeah.
and First Republic both fail. You're there again. Did you see it coming? What lessons did you learn from how 2008 went that you could apply in 2023? Obviously, you bought First Republic.
Yeah, so Silicon Valley Bank, both Silicon Valley Bank and First did some very good stuff, but they both had something unique that we didn't know at the time. And I'm going to call them concentrated deposits, not uninsured, because people are misstating that concentrated. And so a lot of venture capital, and what happened with Silicon Valley Bank and kind of First Republic is some of these large venture capital companies, call them, there are hundreds of them, maybe 1,000, told their constituent clients that they invested in, who all banked at Silicon Valley and First Republic, the banks aren't safe, get out. And they all removed their deposits. In Silicon Valley Bank, I think they had 200 billion in deposits, 300 billion, 100 billion in one day. And that caused the problem, but they also had other problems. They didn't have proper liquidity. They didn't have their collateral posted at the Fed, and they had taken too much interest rate exposure. And the interest rate exposure was hidden by accounting. It was called held to maturity, where you don't have to mark even treasuries to market. And I always hated held to maturity because, but it gives you better regulatory returns and stuff like that. But when that held to maturity, if you said, what's the tangible book value of one of these banks, and you said it was 100, well, all of a sudden it was 50 if you just marked that one thing to market. And there's now you're into judgment land. At what point, if you saw a bank where just that one mark had the tangible book value drop to 40 or 30 cents in the dollar, would you panic? I would have said, that's too much risk. And the regulators helped us because they said rates are going to stay low forever. So these banks bought a lot of 3% mortgages. And when 3% mortgage, when rates went up to 5%, worth 60 cents in the dollar or 50 cents. And that was it. And so both those they took too much interest rate exposure, known to management, and it was known to the regulators, and and fixable. So we knew a little bit about Silicon Valley Bank. We were trying to compete in that area, so we learned a lot afterwards about how to do a better job for that ecosystem of venture capital. We have a whole campus in Palo Alto now. We've hired 500 innovation bankers. We cover venture capital companies. We're not as good as they are yet. We're going to get there because we're organized slightly differently. And we knew First Republic. We were watching it. I had called Janet Yellen. I said that company's in trouble, and one or two others. If you want to